Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how to factor trinomials. And we are going to start with an example. So the first example we have is 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. And we're going to break this down and into two binomials and see what multiplies to 2x squared. So 2x times x would multiply to 2x squared. Then we're going to look at the last term and we're going to say what multiplies to this. Now, there's a rule with doing this. The first thing you always do is you look for a greatest common factor, which I should have pointed out. So step one is to look for a greatest common factor, but there was none, so I kind of skipped that step. But if you do that, if you factor that out first, then you'll never be able to put like a 2 with a 2. You see, if I said what multiplies to 2, I would have 2 and 1. Well, then I have 2 with 2, which means that there was a common factor of 2 in this, and there wasn't. So I know that I'm going to have to put 1 here and 2 here. And now if I multiply these inside ones, I'm going to get 1x, and I'm going to get 4x. And so does 1x and 4x add or subtract to be that middle term here? Yes, it does. It does if both of them are positive. So since both need to be positive, I know that my factored form of this is 2x plus 1 and x plus 2. And if I wanted to check my work, I could FOIL this out or distribute this out, and I would get 2x times x, which is 2x squared, 2x times 2, which is 4x, 1 times x, which is 1x, and 1 times 2, which is 2. When I combine these middle terms, I get exactly the trinomial we were trying to factor. So this was our trinomial we were trying to factor. This is what we got when we checked our work, so we know that we did do this correctly. So this is my factored form. So what did we do? We looked for the greatest common factor, or maybe we should change this to say factor out the greatest common factor. Then step 2, we broke down the first and last term, and then we check for the middle term. Wow, I'm trying to write too fast here. Let's see. So check for the middle term and decide your signs. So another example of this would be example 2. So I have 10x squared minus 32x plus 24. So step 1 was to look for the GCF. So I'm looking for a GCF, and I know that 2 goes into all of these, so I'm going to divide that out. And I'm going to get 5x squared minus 16x plus 12. And so I just always double check to make sure that I did take out the greatest common factor. So 5, 16, and 12, nothing else goes into those. So I did take out the greatest. So this 2 is going to stay in the front, and I'm going to continue to break down this trinomial. So what multiplies to 5x squared? Well, 5x times x. Then I ask myself what multiplies to 12, and I'm going to try 3 and 4. So now I'm going to check if that adds to 16. So I have 3x and I have 20x. And so if I add those, I would get 23. If I subtract those, I would get 17. I would not get 16x. So I'm going to try to switch where I put the 3 and the 4 and see if that gives me my answer. If it doesn't give me my answer, then I'm going to try to, let's see, so 4x, I'm going to try to come up with a different combination that would give me it. So 4x and 15x, so that would be 19 or 11. So that does not give me the 16 in the middle. So I'm going to try what else multiplies to 12. So I tried 3 and 4. How about we try 2 and 6? So 6 and 2. And I kind of chose to put the 6 here instead of here because I knew that 5 and 6, if I multiplied to 6 over here, that would be way too big away from 16. So I thought, let me try the 6 here. So 6x and 10x, that will give me 16 if both of them are negative. So if both are negative, you always have to make sure that's still going to multiply to this number. Does negative 6 and negative 2 multiply to positive 12? It does. So I factored this. This is my solution. If I wanted to check my work, I could distribute this out and see if I got the starting quadratic here. And so that is how you factor trinomials.